Hello Curious and welcome back. The Tokyo Olympics are currently in full swing, with news and scores pouring out faster than people can keep up. And currently, the most talked about piece of news straight from Japan has been the fact that 24-year-old artistic gymnast Simone Biles has pulled out of the competition. Right away, the opinions of gymnastics fans and casual viewers alike were divided, with some sending out messages of support to Biles and others saying she was like a child throwing a tantrum for messing up her routine. But what if her decision to withdraw was a matter of life and death situation? What prompted the young athlete to make this decision? Has the pressure of being the only still competing survivor of the intimate abuse that over 300 people have experienced from their former national team doctor Larry Nassar gotten too much for the 24-year-old? And could this be the end of her career? Stay with us until the very end to find out all the latest information about Simone's decision, but before we continue, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, turn on the notifications and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. Before we jump into what exactly happened to Simone and the possible reasons for this, let's get to know a little bit more about her. Simone Biles was born on March 14, 1997 in Columbus, Ohio. She and her sister Adria were raised by their grandfather Ron and grandmother Nellie after their mother struggled with substance abuse problems. The grandparents would later go on to adopt the two girls, and they, especially Nellie, were a constant source of support throughout Simone's rise in the world of sports as a gymnast. Speaking about her support, Biles had said, "She encourages me and never lets me feel down about something for too long." And luckily, her abilities were discovered at an early age. According to the official USA Gymnastics website, she had visited a gymnastics center on a field trip with her daycare, and while she imitated the other gymnasts there, a coach had noticed her and sent a letter to her house requesting that she join stumbling or gymnastics. And as you can imagine, very soon she was on her way to developing her natural gifts. She had begun competing as a level 8 gymnast in 2007, and by 2011 she had already secured her place at the junior elite level, and it wasn't long before she had emerged as a force to be reckoned with at the senior elite level, where she had burst into the spotlight as the all-round winner at the 2013 US P&G Championships. Later that very same year, she made history at the World Championships by becoming the first female African-American athlete to win gold in the all-around. If we were to list all of her accomplishments to date, we would be here for quite a while, so we will let the medals speak for themselves. As across the span of her career, the 24-year-old has earned 27 gold medals, 5 silver and 4 bronze. 19 of the gold were earned at the World Championships, 4 at the 2016 Rio Olympics, and the remaining 4 split between the Pacific Rim Championships and FIG All-Around World Cup. Not to mention that she is the gymnast with not only the most world medals, but also the most gold world medals. And to put her dominance in the sport into context, she hasn't lost a competition since the middle of 2013 and has made a habit of repeatedly pushing what's possible for female gymnasts. This has paid off, and as of the time of this video was made, she has 4 routines named after her. Not to mention that at the US Classic in Indianapolis at the end of May, Biles became the first woman in history to execute the Yurchenko double pike vault. It was named after a Russian gymnast who pioneered the move, but it was never attempted in competition by a woman until Simone had pulled it off. But what event in her life have all these successes been seemingly overshadowed by? Stay with us until the end to find out. Those accomplishments have also paid off in terms of her bank account. According to Yahoo Finance, Simone's net worth is estimated to be around $6 million, and while a great deal of it certainly comes from her gold medals, a portion of it also is thanks to her many endorsements. Previously, she had a deal with Nike, but months before the Olympics, she left the brand to join another sportswear brand, Athleta. She had also appeared alongside Queer Eye star Jonathan Van Ness in an Uber Eats ad last year. And given that United Airlines is the official sponsor of Team USA, Biles was among the American Olympics and Paralympic athletes endorsed by the company. However, the natures of these deals are unknown, as are the sums of money involved. And things that have been going well for her in her private life. As of March last year, she had started dating NFL star Jonathan Owens. The pair, who had met on the celebrity dating app Raya, had not been shy about showing off their love on Instagram, and following her withdrawals from the team competition at the Olympics, Owens was quick to voice his support for not only Simone, but for the rest of the team as well. The successes aside, that is not the only thing that had shocked people about this young athlete. The news came in 2018 when she had taken to her social media account to reveal that she too had been intimately abused by the USA Gymnastics team Dr. Larry Nassar. While in the past he was known as the renowned top-tier physician that the elite American gymnasts came to for help, in 2016 things changed for the doctor when former gymnast Rachel Den Hollander came forward to the Indianapolis Star with her story of abuse and filed a criminal complaint with the Michigan State University, where she alleged that Nassar had intimately abused her in 2000 when she was 15. This had opened a floodgate, and to date, more than 300 people had come forward with their own stories of how this trusted doctor had taken advantage of them, with Simone Biles adding her name to the list in 2018 of her statement. At the start of that same year, a judge has sentenced Larry to up to 175 years in prison for his crimes, adding to the 60 years that he was previously sentenced to on a possession of X-rated content featuring children. Then months after the sentencing, Michigan State had agreed to pay out $500 million to the survivors of the former doctor's abuse. Now fast forwarding to the Tokyo Olympics, when Biles had pulled out of the competition, stating that she needed to prioritize her mental health, it had people talking that it was due to the intimate abuse that she had endured because of Nassar was to be blamed for this, with some adding that the knowledge of being the only still competing survivor of the abuse probably had some effect on her. But in an interview of time before the Olympics had started, she admitted that the postponement of the Games from last year weighed on her, as it would mean another year of dealing with the USAG, and that the survivors felt the organization's lack of transparency and accountability. In light of her decision, she has been met with a lot of criticism, with many saying that she was just upset that her routine was off and throwing a hissy fit. But there might be more to it, which we'll tell you about in just a moment, so make sure to stay with us until the end. And certainly, the COVID pandemic had taken a mental toll on everyone, and the way that these games had taken place this year, with all the restrictions and regulations in place, and the knowledge that if they test positive it could mean the end of the road for the athletes, has probably also contributed to these feelings. However, while some were busy name-calling the 24-year-old, some gymnasts had pointed out the situation of what was going on in Simone's head could have been much more dangerous, and a life-and-death situation. Talking about what she was feeling that made her drop out, Biles had said that she had something called the Twisties, and for some, the name might sound fun, but as gymnastics coach Andrea Orris explained on her Instagram, it was much worse. Explaining it in the simplest way she could, the Twisties occurs when a gymnast is doing a jump in the air and they are supposed to turn a certain amount of times, but they get lost and don't know how many they've done. So simply, it is a mental block. In her video, Oris went on to talk about how dangerous such a mental block while in the air could be, stating that the fact that Simone managed to land on her feet was impressive, as many gymnasts would have landed on their back, face or neck, adding, not to sound morbid or dramatic, but this has ended in paralysis or death for gymnasts in the past. And because of this, it was important that Biles knew her own strength and mind to know that it would probably be best for her to step aside, as not to either cost her team a medal or cause injuries to herself. Many were also quick to compare her decision to focus on her mental health to the tennis player Naomi Osaka, who had previously withdrawn from the French Open and Wimbledon earlier this year to focus on her own mental well-being. It also shined a light on the importance of mental health with all athletes and in sport general. And if you want to know more about what Osaka went through, you can check out our previous video by clicking on the link above. Though it wasn't just athletes that had voiced their support for Simone, many celebrities had taken to their social media to praise her. One of them being Wolverine himself, Hugh Jackman, who shared a video to his Twitter where he called both Naomi and Biles incredible and the best in their field. Another star, who knows all too well what it's like to have to pull out of an event to focus on mental health, was Justin Bieber, who in 2017 had to cancel the rest of his tour to focus on his well-being. Others who voiced their support were Ellen DeGeneres, Queer Eye's Bobby Burke, and Amanda Gorman, many of them pointing out that in their eyes, Biles had already won gold. But what is next for her in terms of the competition or her career? It was announced that she would not compete in the Olympic all-round, where she is the defending gold medalist. USA Gymnastics had said that she will continue to be evaluated to determine whether or not she will be able to compete in events finals next week. And while this is a short-term thing, many are wondering about the rest of her career, and could this be the start of the end? Though here it is worth pointing out that Simone herself is more than ready to get back into competing once she is better, and there are no other indications that this could be the end of her career. I'm so curious, do you think that this could be the end of Biles' career? Do you believe the whole ordeal with Larry Nassar had contributed to the fact that she needed to step out of the competition? Have you ever heard of the Twisties before? And do you think this will impact her career in the long run? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. Until next time.